Hello students, welcome back to the online tutorial class. This is Indrani Roy, your English teacher from Asian International School, and today we will read about active and passive voice. So what is voice? Voice refers to the form of a verb that indicates when a grammatical subject performs the action or is the receiver of the action. So whether the grammatical subject is the doer of a particular action or the receiver of a particular action, that we can understand from voice. That is voice. So voice can be classified into two kinds, active voice and passive voice. What is an active voice? When a sentence is written in active voice, the subject performs the action. So the subject is the doer of the action in active sentences. Active sentences are about what people or things do. For example, Anna kicked the ball. So in this sentence you can see that Anna, the subject, is doing a particular action. What action she is doing? She is kicking the ball. The award-winning chef prepares each meal with loving care. So here the chef, the award-winning chef, is preparing meal with loving care. So here the chef is doing the particular job. Passive voice. When a sentence is written in passive voice, the subject receives the action. But unlike active voice, in passive voice, the subject will not do any particular action, it will receive the action. It will be passive. Passive sentences are about what happens to people or things. For example, the ball was kicked by Anna. If we see the same active sentence in the passive sentence, it will be the ball was kicked by Anna. In active voice, it was Anna kicked the ball. When we are going to write in passive voice, we will write the ball was kicked by Anna. So here Anna is passive, but the work that she is doing is getting priority. The ball was kicked by Anna. Each meal is prepared with loving care by the award-winning chef. So when we are writing this particular sentence in active voice, it is the award-winning chef prepares each meal with loving care, where the subject is performing the action, the subject is important. But here in passive voice, the work that he is doing is more important than the subject. Each meal is prepared with loving care by the award-winning chef. So this is the differences between active voice and passive voice. Now we will see the rules to express passive voice. There are certain rules through which we can express the passive voice. Passive voice is formed by using appropriate forms of the verb to be with the third form of the verb. Whenever we are writing or converting an active sentence into a passive sentence, the verb form will be V3 form of the verb. So passive voice is formed by using appropriate forms of the verb to be with the V3 form of the verb from 3. Number 2, object takes the place of subject. Number 3, the subject is either left out or mentioned at the end as a mere agent of the action done. So object will take the place of subject and the subject will take the place of the object. And the subject will be either left out or it will be mentioned at the end of the sentence. Number 4, the verb changes its form only. Number 5, the preposition by is mostly used to show the subject as an agent of the function. So whenever we will be transforming the active voice sentence into passive voice, we will be adding by. The verb will be third form of the verb. Number 6, only transitive verbs can be used in passive voice. What is a transitive verb, children? A transitive verb has an object whereas an intransitive verb has no object. So only transitive verbs, that means the verbs which are having objects, those verbs will be used in passive voice. Number 7, there is no passive voice of the verbs in future continuous tense and perfect continuous forms of all the tenses. Number 7 is very important, children. There is no passive voice of the verbs in future continuous tense and in the perfect continuous forms of all the three tenses. Now, usage of passive voice. Number 1. That is when we use passive voice. Number 1, emphasize the receiver of the action instead of the doer. When we want to emphasize on the receiver of the action instead of the doer. For example, quizzes are given regularly. So here the quizzes are important and not who has given it. Questions are encouraged. The questions are here encouraged and not who is actually asking the questions. Number 2, when we do not know who performed the action, at that time we will use passive voice. For example, Ray's calculator was made in Germany. The answers have been filled in. So in these sentences, we don't know who has performed the action. So when we are not aware about the doer of the action, we will be using passive voice. Number 3, when we do not wish to mention the doer of the action, when we intentionally don't want to mention the doer of the action, the subject, when we only try to focus on the work, at that time we will use passive voice. For example, many problems have been ignored for too long. I was given some bad advice. Number 4, when we want to sound objective or avoid using the subject I. For example, studies have shown or it is well known. So in this way, when we want to sound objective or when we want to avoid I in the sentence, we can write in passive voice. Next one is formation of the passive voice. Passive voice is formed by using a form of auxiliary verb be, like be, am, is, are, was, were, being, been, followed by the past participle of the main verb, V3 form of the main verb. Let's see how we are going to transform. Active, he loves me. When we are changing it into passive, we will write I am loved. I am loved. So here, he loves me, I am loved. We took our children to the circus. So we will go to the object position. The children will come to the subject position, right? So the children were taken to the circus. A thief stole my money. A thief stole my money. So my money was stolen. You can also write by a thief. My money was stolen by a thief. He remembers his grandmother. His grandmother is remembered. So in this way, we will form the passive voice. Now we will see how we will change an active sentence into passive or a passive sentence into active based on the tenses. We will see present tense, past tense and future tense separately. So at first, let's get started with present tense. Simple present. What would be the rule, children? In active, base form of the verb or S or ES form. So we will write the base form of the verb or we will be adding S or ES form with the verb. I read a poem. In passive, it will be am, is, are, that is the be verbs, plus the past participle form of the verb, that is V3 form. So, I read a poem will be converted into a poem because the object will go in the place of subject and the subject will come in the place of object. So, a poem is read by me. A poem is read by me. Next one, he scolds me. He scolds me in active. In passive, I am scolded by him. I am scolded by him. Present continuous tense. Now, in when we will change active into passive or passive into active, and if the sentence that is given is inactive sentence is a continuous sentence, I mean a sentence in a continuous tense, be it present or past, we will be adding being in the passive sentence. being. We will be adding being in the passive sentence. So, present continuous tense, that means being will be there in the sentence. So, the active formula is am is are plus ing. The passive formula is be verb, that is am is are plus being plus V3 form of the verb. So, she is stitching a shirt. It's a continuous sentence, present continuous sentence. So, a shirt is being stitched by her. By, we know we have to add by. V3 form is also compulsory, we know that. And as it is a continuous sentence, a sentence in continuous tense, that's why we are adding being here, being. He is beating his dog. So his dog is being bitten by him. Okay. Next one is perfect, present perfect. In perfect tenses, be it present or past or future, we will be adding bin, B-E-E-N, bin, in the passive voice. Like being, we will be adding bin in perfect tenses. So the formula for present perfect would be has, have plus third form of the verb. In passive, has, have plus B-E-N, bin plus third form of the verb. So in continuous tenses, we are adding being. In perfect tense, we are adding ben. The farmer has tilled the field. The farmer has been tilled the field. We are writing has because it is field is singular. I have not bought a new bike. A new bike has not been bought by me. Now let us see past tense. Simple past, base form of the verb plus e or ed. Passive, we will add was, were plus V3 form of the verb. She wrote a letter in active sentence. In passive, a letter was written by her. A letter was written by her. Did you waste money? Was money wasted by you? Was money wasted by you? Now, past continuous tense. Now, as we know that in continuous tense, we have to add being. So, was, were plus V form, verb form 1 plus ing. That will change into was, were plus being plus third form of the verb. So, he was winding his watch. The passive sentence would be his watch was being wound by him. Which picture was he seeing? Which picture was being called out by you? This would be the passive sentence. Past perfect. Now perfect tense means we will be adding BEEN in the passive voice sentence, isn't it? So the formula of past perfect is had plus verb form 3. When we will change into passive, the formula would be had, definitely, because we use had in past instead of have and has. We use had. So had plus been plus third form of the verb. So I had sold my cow will get changed into my cow had been sold by me. What had they done to help you? What had been done by them to help you? Now, future tense. Simple future, active sentence, will plus base form of the verb. Passive sentence, will be plus third form of verb. So, he will do it. It will get changed to it will be done by him. Will she not wear a sari? Will a sari not be worn by her? Now, future, because future continuous tense, we have already read that there is no passive verbs. So we will directly move on to future perfect tense. So will or shall plus have plus third form of the verb. Will, shall plus have plus third form of the verb. This is the rule of the tense, right? We use have with future perfect. We use has, have in present, we use have, had in past, and we use have in future, right? So in passive it will be changed to will, shall plus have. As it is perfect, we will definitely add been, B-E-E and been, plus third form of the verb. So the examples are, she will have opened a school. Passive, a school will have been opened by her. Who will have done this job? Passive, by whom will this job have been done? So, this is it, children. I hope you have understood the lesson. So, we will meet in the next class again with a different topic. Till then, thank you. Bye.